Hi, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon here on YouTube. This video is for educational life and therapy. Your city Psychology Today will pop up. Click on that. It will have all of the therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other goddamn therapist for that matter. Done. Okay, hi. So I'm at the Hyatt in the airport at Orlando. So I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit quieter here. So just wanted to get a couple of things out of the way. Had a wonderful cruise. It was awesome. Thank you so much to everybody that showed up. Suzanne and I had so much fun. And it was so much fun doing it with everybody and being able to hang out and, have breakfast and lunch and dinner together and talk and really work through whatever issues or questions you guys had. It was so much fun. We're going to do it again. So if you are interested in going on another cruise, we are doing it May 7th through the 11th, and that will be out of Galveston, Texas. It will be going to Cozumel. If you are interested in that, go to Mercury. So it's going to be mercury.com/shop. That is where you can get the information on that. It's all priced out and everything's good to go. Or you can email Chris or Beth at mercury.com. Cruise at mercury.com. I'm sorry, I'm kidding. John's feeding me all this information. So we're doing that again in May. So that is awesome. And it's going to be a longer cruise because we decided that we needed more time to spend with you guys because we had two-hour sessions and it just wasn't long enough. Also, Just Manny will be on the cruise with me, so you'll have a personal trainer doing a educational thing on how to stay healthy as you are leaving an abusive relationship. I am trying to talk Dwayne Roberts into coming with me, or Dwayne Robert into coming with me. I just sent him an email and he was like, oh my God, I want to go, but I'm not sure I can afford it, so let me check. And so he's going to get back to me and let me know if he can go. Susanna, I think, is going to be able to come on the cruise, and I'm talking to so that's that. That's Galveston, May 7th through the 11th. Also, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who came to the Orlando meet and greet. That was awesome meeting you guys and talking. And I had a lot of fun, and it was great seeing you guys. So that was very cool. All right, so to get a couple of things out of the way, we've got January 25th is going to be Houston at Siphon Coffee. February 22nd is in Honolulu, and that is going to be at the Coffee Purveyors, which is right across the street from the Duke statue, which is scary that I know that. March 21st is going to be Washington, D.C., and it's called A Baked Joint. Apparently, they have really good pastries. April 18th is going to be Westchester. I'm not quite sure where. April 18th also in New York City is at a private residence, and May 7th through the 11th is the cruise. So if you have any questions, you can go to Mercury and ask Chris at mercury.com, or you can go to Eventbrite and look up some of the events there. The cruise, however, is on mercury.com/shop. So, or cruise at mercury.com. Okay, all of that out of the way. All right, so today's thing is going to be, oh, hello, Finland. Wow. Today's thing is on overthinking. Overthinking. We all do it. We do. And it comes from anxiety, and it comes from having been raised by somebody with a personality disorder. So narcissistic personality disorder and or borderline personality disorder. And I'm talking malignant, guys. I'm not talking at the lower end of the spectrum. I'm talking at the higher end of the spectrum. When we have parents or we have caregivers that have got personality disorder, they tend to be very anxious. There's a lot of anxiety with them. And so they teach us to overthink. And if we have a narcissist for a parent, with them, it's not so much anxiety. With them, it's more punishment. So if you don't get this right, I'm going to punish you. If you don't do this right, I'm going to punish you. If you don't, think this all the way through, I'm going to punish you. And so we learn very quickly that we have to overthink things and make sure that we're doing everything correctly so that the abuser doesn't have a chance to go, And that happens in romantic relationships with an abuser. That happens in parental relationships with an abuser. It happens with siblings. It happens with anybody who's got those lovely personality disorders. So basically what happens is that when we are raised by a hypercritical parent, the parent is out here and they are just hypercritical, always honest. It's never the right thing. We're always wrong. We're always getting punished. We're always getting yelled at. We're always being made wrong. We're always being put down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We get to the point where we suffer from analysis paralysis. In other words, we get so deep in our head that we literally cannot make a decision because we're terrified. It's like I think I said it once before in an earlier video about anxiety. It's like that episode from the original series of Star Trek, Daggers of the Mind, where Sulu is, driving the ship and all he can see are these daggers pointing at him from every direction. And to him, he can't go left, he can't go right. He has to go, straight forward because otherwise he's going to get killed and he's going to ruin the ship and everybody's going to die. And of course, it was all in his mind. And that's what happens to us. And it is a form of dissociation when it is in its severe form. So think of it this way. If we are terrified, and we usually are, of what other people think about us, we will say or do something and immediately go into our head. Like literally the present moment is gone and we are now living in the past. And it could be a past from a moment ago, or it could be a past from like years ago or days ago or hours ago. And so we go straight into our head and we're always like, oh my God, did I say the right thing? Did I do the right thing? I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have said that. I should do this. I should do that. Oh my God, why am I doing, And so then it's a form of dissociation because think about it. When we get so deep into our head, we're no longer in the present moment. We're now living in a past that's already happened, but we're beating ourselves up for it. Oh, I should have said that. I should have said that. I should have said, shoulda, coulda, woulda, okay, is mental mind fuckery. I love that word, mind fuckery. Anyway, it's mental mind fuckery is what it is. It's nothing more than a mind trip. And it's a way to make yourself feel horrible. So what I tell my clients when they start doing that, I should have, stop shoulding all over yourself. Stop it. Cut it out. Quit it. Because it's not going to do any good. The past is gone. We can't change that. It's bye-bye. It's bye-bye now. Bye-bye. We cannot change that. And instead of beating ourselves up, I think a better thing to do is to help bring yourself back into the present moment. Wait a minute. This is the past. So this is where we have to kind of do a little bit of reality therapy. Is what I'm thinking real or not? And so what we have to do is we have to bring ourselves into the present moment. Wait a minute. Okay, I am beating myself up for something that I said 2 days ago, 2 minutes ago, 2 hours ago, whatever. And we have to go, okay, that conversation is gone. Okay, so I said what I said. So what? And the other thing that we get stuck in is, oh my God, they hate me. Oh my God, they hate me. Oh my God, they're judging me. They're doing this, they're doing that. I really hate to break it to you, but most people are so wrapped up in their own stuff that whatever conversation you are obsessing about, is not even a thought in their head. So unless somebody comes up to you and says, hey, what you said to me during this conversation hurt my feelings, you don't need to worry about it. But what we do is we obsess and we get stuck in rumination. So it's called ruminating. So ruminating like a cow. I don't know if you guys have ever been on a farm before, but I was raised out on a ranch. So cows will sit there and they will chew their cud. So basically what happens is the cow regurgitates half-eaten stuff and it just sits there and goes. And that's what we do in our heads. We're sitting there going, oh my God, this conversation that I had. And we keep chewing it over and chewing it over and chewing it over and chewing it over. And we don't need to. We don't need to. And it takes us out of the present moment. That's what I'm saying. It is a form of dissociation when we get into our heads so deeply that we literally check out. Like when I'm talking to somebody and they are worrying about something that they had said, I literally can see them just check out because they stop making eye contact and their eyes kind of drift off this way and they're gone and they're thinking about something that happened in the past. And it's kind of like, whoa, hello, come back. What are you worried about? And usually it's, oh my God, I shouldn't have said this, or I overshared this, or I should have said something differently. Stop shooting on yourself. Trust me, guys, what other people think of us is, first of all, none of our business. And second of all, everyone is so wrapped up in their own stuff, they're not judging you. The only ones that are judging us are the ones who are disordered, because normal, quote unquote, Normal, healthy people recognize life is precious and short, and there is not enough time or space or energy to judge another person. So if somebody's judging you, this person may not want to be, you may not want them in your life. Do you see where I'm going with that? So it's really important to, when you recognize that you're overthinking, you have to do a reality check. It's like, is this something I need to do something about? It's like the Buddhist worry chart. Again, what is the Buddhist worry chart? Is there a problem? Yes. Can I do something about it? Yes. Then don't worry. Is there a problem? Yes. Can I do something about it? No. Well, then don't worry. You only need to do something if there is something that needs to be made amends for. If you're worried about somebody judging you, that's none of our business. If they're judging us, that's on them. Okay. Now, if we've hurt somebody's feelings and we need to make amends or clean something up, okay, that's a little different. But you don't need to be in your head 24/7 worrying about it. You really don't. So, what does this stem from? It stems from not trusting ourselves. It does. Because we're so used to this abuser coming in and going, no, you don't think that. No, you don't remember this right. No, you did this wrong. No, you did that wrong. No, you don't really want this, you want that. That we learn to not trust ourselves. And so then, as a form of self-defense, we get into our heads replaying and analysis and analyzing, analysis paralysis. And then it prevents us from actually moving forward or moving to the side or doing whatever we need to do. So you want to work on challenging the thoughts. So when you feel like you're in your head and you're second guessing yourself, oh, God, I shouldn't have said that. I could have done this differently. Darn it, if I had just said this, that, and the other thing. So what you need to do is stop, grab a journal, write it out. Is this real? Is this real? Half of the time we create drama in our heads because we're so used to being judged that we take over the role of judge, jury, and executioner. And we need to stop that. We need to stop that. We don't deserve that. We didn't deserve it when we were little, and we sure as hell don't deserve it now. And so that's when you have to tell that judgy voice. It's like, no, they're not thinking about me. No, they're not talking about me. And if they are, or if they have a problem with what I said, they can come to me and say, hey, you've got a problem. I've got a problem. Let's talk about this. So you've got to start doing a little bit of challenging. So challenge thoughts. Challenge them. They're just thoughts, guys. They're just thoughts. But remember, our amygdala is stupid. And so it really honestly thinks that what we think is real. So if we bring up a situation from the past that we're regretting or that we're fearful of, or that we have some concerns about what we said and how we said it and things like that, the amygdala will act as if it were happening right here and now. And so the body responds with a stress response, which is why most people who've been in abusive relationships are, up here with stress 24/7, because we're constantly in our heads. We've got to get out of our heads. We've got to get out of our heads. And when you find yourself in your head, you must be extremely gentle with you. That's the thing. The key to overcoming overthinking is to validate yourself, really, play with the thoughts. Is this real? Is this a real thing? Is this something I need to act on, or is this just a thought? Am I just punishing myself? Am I just, being mean to myself? Am I shoulding all over myself? And if that's the case, then you got to go, okay, brain, thank you for your input. I do not need to ruminate about this. I do not need to go into my head about this. I want to stay in the present moment. And it's hard because sometimes I think we do that. We ruminate and we go into our heads because we're uncomfortable. So that's another thing. So when we're in a new situation and we're uncomfortable, it's so much easier to be up here ruminating and being fearful than it is to be here present, possibly being fearful, but being present, because we're not used to it. And our abusers have made us not used to being present. That's the hardest thing, I think, for us as survivors, is to remain in the present moment and not go off into the future, Worry, worry, worry. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And not go off into the past. Worry, worry, worry. Oh my God, I said this, I said that, I should have, I could have, I would have. So it's a task of staying in the present, acknowledging the fears of both present and past, but staying here with all of us and not going into your head. So it's a way of also, it's almost like we take over the role of our own parent, our own punisher. So it's really important that you figure out who taught you that, who taught you to ruminate, who taught you to go deep into your head, who taught you that it wasn't okay to be in the present moment. Give yourself permission. So when we're doing the mirror work, and basically the biggest thing that I took away from this cruise is that you guys are just effing amazing. I effing love every single one of you. And it's so cool to hang out with you. And the other thing I took away from this cruise is that literally every single issue we all face as survivors of abuse boils down to two things. One, self-esteem. Two, inner child work. Really, seriously. You get those two things nailed down tight, you will be bulletproof. Seriously. So rumination comes from not trusting our gut. Rumination comes from not trusting ourselves, not being certain. And that's the one thing that abusers do is they take away our certainty. You didn't think that, you didn't feel that, you don't like that, you like this. I said that, I didn't say this, da 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 da. And we lose all sense of reality. So it's important to do some reality therapy with this. It's like challenge the thoughts. Is this real? Is this something I need to actually be working on? Or is this something that I can say, brain, fabulous, thank you, that was a lovely thought, thank you for driving me into my head. I don't need to do that. I would like to stay in the here and the now. So the here and the now is very important, and it's important to challenge the thoughts. And half the time the thoughts are not real. I mean, they're real in that we're having them, but they're not real in that this other person or the situation is going on. We create things in our head that are not even real, but we're so used to the drama and we're so used to the trauma and we're so used to judging ourselves that we don't even realize that we're checking out. And I don't want you to check out. I want you to be here. I want you to be present. I want you to be aware and awake and loving yourself and comfortable with yourself. So the other part of that is maladaptive daydreaming. So I was talking to one of the participants about this. Okay, maladaptive daydreaming is kind of the same thing. It's overthinking or it's checking out. And what it is it's the best way I can describe it. It's like, how do I explain this? I don't know if you guys will remember this or not, but if you remember Scrubs, JD, who was the main character, John's laughing, would very often get into an uncomfortable situation. You know, a patient was dying or something was going on at the hospital, and he would look up to the right and then poof, he was in a daydream. So that's kind of maladaptive daydreaming. When things get too much, you just kind of check out and you're in a daydream and there it is, and it's a much more comfortable space. So again, it has to do with comfortable. It has to do with we go where we are comfortable. We go where we are, oh, that's not for me. We go where we feel safer, but it's safer, but it prevents us from being in the moment. So daydreaming is great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am a big advocate of daydreaming because that's where ideas come from. That's where plans come from. That's where, fun stuff comes from is daydreaming. It's like, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this? But you don't want to be doing the maladaptive daydreaming where you're avoiding things. So like, for example, I'm going to use Scrubs again. In one episode that really stuck out in my mind, his client was dying. His patient was dying and he couldn't save him. It was terminal cancer or something. And so he imagined, wouldn't it be nice if we could just make him as comfortable as possible? And so he had this daydream where he filled the entire room with cotton balls. And I just thought, oh, that is the sweetest thing ever. I mean, he was trying to cope with his patient dying. So that's a way that we do adaptive daydreaming. Maladaptive is when we do that all the time, though, and we are moving ourselves from the present moment. So if you find yourself doing that, you want to figure out, what is it you're trying to avoid? What is it that you're feeling, you're thinking, you're feeling that feels uncomfortable? What are you trying to avoid? And then journal. This is huge. It's like journal it out. Challenge it. Challenge it. You have a right to live your life and to live it fully present, fully aware, fully awake, And yeah, we're going to be uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes things happen that are uncomfortable, make us kind of squirm or whatever, but that's part of living. And what abusers do is they live in a world of perfection. Has to be perfect, has to be perfect, has to be perfect, has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, they get pissed, right? And so then they teach us to kind of check out if things are not perfect. They teach us to check out when we're being, hypercritical, somebody's giving us criticism or whatever. But the truth of the matter is, life is amazing when we are present. And even if there's criticism going on, it's great to be able to be present enough to go, let me test this. Is this criticism coming in? Is this real? Is this about me? Or is this projection on their part? And that comes from self esteem. So, certainty. So, working on your certainty means working on trusting your gut instinct. And like I said, because our abusers have for so many years said, no, 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 you don't see that pink elephant taking a shit in the corner of the living room. No, no, no. That's not happening. We stop listening to our gut. Even though we know what's going on, we convince ourselves, we get into denial, and we go, oh, yeah, no, there's no pink elephant over there. No, 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 I don't want to acknowledge that, blah, blah, blah. So we have to get into the habit of acknowledging what is and reality. It's like reality testing. Is this real? Is this a real thing, or is this somebody else's projection? So when you learn to trust your gut, because this was one of the main questions we had on Saturday with the group that was in Orlando. When you learn to trust your gut, it is a matter of going back and listening to how your body feels when you ask it a yes or a no question on something you already know the answer to. So, for example, I hate peanut butter, but I love Reese's peanut butter cups. Go figure. So, when I ask myself, do you like peanut butter? It's like, no. Oh God, that's an immediate, visceral response. Do I like Reese's peanut butter cups? Oh, yes. And it's like a certainty. So I feel how that feels in my body. So I take something that I already know the answer to, and I feel where that answer feels in my body. Some people feel it in their chest. A lot of people feel it in their guts. Feel where those yes or no answers feel. That is your gut instinct. So do it with something that you already know the answer to, and then start expanding that to things you're not sure of. Is this person projecting their crap onto me? Yes or no? Yes. Woo, there you go. That's your gut instinct. It takes practice, guys, because our gut instinct has been taken away from us. Because when we knew stuff, right? And we saw the abuse, or we saw the dysfunction, or we saw whatever, we got labeled the problem, we got labeled the scapegoat, we got punished, we got told to shut up, we got no, 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 you don't see that. So then we quickly stopped listening to our bodies, and especially if there was physical or sexual abuse going on, we stopped listening to our bodies, and we stopped listening to how we feel. So part of recovery and part of stopping overthinking is, how do you feel? What is your gut trying to tell you? What is your body trying to tell you? Our bodies talk to us all the time, but we unfortunately don't listen to them because of the abuse that we went through. So we've got to get back in touch with, how are we feeling? Where is the emotion in the body? When I feel anger, where do I feel it? When I feel sad, where do I feel it? When I feel scared, where do I feel it? Start putting together where it is in your body with the emotion, because it's all one, guys. It's all one. Everybody loves to think that, like, oh, intellect is over here and emotions are over here and your body's over there. No, it's all one package. So we've got to start putting it together. And certainty is huge. So one of the things that I had my group do, both groups, both on the cruise and with my little group in Orlando, is I have you do some guided imagery. And in the guided imagery, it's basically close your eyes, go somewhere amazingly safe. See yourself, see your body. How does it feel? What part of your body is hurting? What part of your body needs healing? What part of your body needs to be loved? What part of your body has been ignored? And then in a gold ball over your head, imagine the word certainty in glittering gold letters. And then Bring that gold ball with the word certainty into the top of your head and all the way down to your body. How does that feel? So getting things like that going, guided imagery, huge. Our brains are so amazing because they can talk us into a panic attack, right? And we can talk ourselves out of a panic attack. So our brains are hugely, hugely important, and don't discount them in our healing. Don't discount the thoughts. You must be mindful of what you are saying to yourself. You must be mindful of how you say things to yourself. So if you're constantly saying something like, oh my God, all this is going on and I just don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Stop. You do know, you just may not like the answer. And that's the truth. So when clients tell me, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, it's like, no, you do know the answer. You just don't like it. So why don't we talk about it? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? And where do you feel it in your body? So overthinking comes from the anxiety of being wrong. And here's the deal, guys. We're going to be wrong. We're going to be wrong. We're going to make mistakes. Shit happens. It does. And you can't stop that. But what you can stop is the nasty judgment and being mean to you and ruminating and taking yourself out of the moment. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. You make amends, you clean things up, and you move on and you forgive yourself. Okay. What I see people who ruminate, we've got a lot of music going on in the background. I can hear it. It's getting louder. It's like, stop it. When we ruminate, we make ourselves wrong, and we allow that internal critic to just beat the living crap out of ourselves. No more. They don't get to do that. Be done. When you do the mirror work and you look in the mirror and you say, hi, good to see you. Have a wonderful day. I give you permission to make mistakes and learn from them. I give you permission to tell that overthinking voice to fuck off, right? So you give yourself permission and you keep working on certainty. So certainty is what you want to work on. Give yourself permission to be certain. I give myself permission to be certain. I give myself permission to know. I give myself permission to acknowledge, and I give myself permission to stay in the present moment. And if I start overthinking, I give myself permission to challenge those thoughts with reality. And that's what we need to do. And we all do it. We all do it. So please don't beat yourself up, because we all go into overthinking, overanalyzing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And honestly, that goes back to self-esteem, and that goes back to the inner child. Because when kids are uncertain, right? They want to try to do everything they can to stay safe, right? And unfortunately, our inner child is the one that's running that, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God thing. So work on the self-esteem workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. Work on the Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor. Do guided imagery. Imagine bringing the word certainty into your body. Imagine bringing the word peace into your body. Imagine bringing the word happiness into your body. Just bring it on in. How does that look? How does that feel? Do we feel funky about that, or do we feel okay with that? Some people feel funky with that because in their world, it wasn't okay to be happy. Because when we were happy, what happened? The abuser would ruin that moment. And we are coming up on Christmas and stuff, guys. And there is a lot of weird, hoovering stuff going on. I've been hearing from people. It's like, oh yeah, it's happening. Your video a couple of weeks ago was right on. So be very aware that now is the time of year that they do to try to ruin the holidays. Don't let them. Don't let them, no matter what they do, don't let them ruin the holidays for you. You have a right to be happy. You have a right to be present. You have a right to be in your body, and you have a right to be able to enjoy life, meaning that you are in this moment, here, now, not in your head, not beating yourself up, not being mean to you, not worrying about something you may have said or done. So when you hear the shoulda, coulda, woulda, you're shooting all over yourself. Tell it to stop, and then start journaling. Who taught you this? Who taught you this? Who told you that you had to be perfect? Who told you that you had to ruminate over every single thing you did? Who told you it wasn't okay to be in the here and the now? So yes, it is a form of dissociating when it gets into the rumination part where it's just like you're gone and you're in the past. So when you find yourself either in the distant past or even the recent past or in a future, no, here, now, right here, right now. And the other thing to think about too is what sent you into that rumination. What was the trigger? What did somebody say to you? What happened? What did you see? What did you hear? What did you smell? And start writing it out and figure out why. Why? Who taught you all of this? And remind yourself you have a right to be present in your body, in your life. Okay, I think we're ready for questions. What do we got?
So the first question is,
Yeah.
what's the difference between dissociation versus reflecting? A thin gray line.
Well, okay, reflecting is you reflect back. It's kind of like, okay, is what I said okay? Maybe, maybe not. But you're there and you're out of it. You're there and you're out of it. When you dissociate, you're there and you don't come out of it. And you're there for like a long period of time, like long enough so that people can notice that you've checked out. So that's the difference. So dissociating means that you literally, it's like the past is playing in your head like a movie and it's happening in your head right there, right now. And it's usually not nice. We usually replay stuff over and over again that's we're embarrassed about or we're not sure of, or we're making a story that's not even true. And that's what we have to be careful of, is because we often do stories that are not even true. We've decided that, oh, this person hates me, when in reality they were busy or they didn't hear us or whatever. So you've got to be really careful about what stories do you tell yourself. Dissociating is when we just check out and we're there. And we're there. Like, gone, there. Does that make sense? Okay, next.
Is it normal to have a low tolerance threshold for any kind of squirrely behavior after decades of covert abuse?
Yes. Yes. So it's like the swing of a pendulum. So for so many years, we've been over here allowing abuse, or not allowing it, but living in abuse. You know what I'm saying? It's like we didn't know any different. We didn't know any better. And then when we finally realize, oh, crap, this is abuse. I don't want this. When we come out of it, we tend to swing back the other way. So what you want is to come back to the center so that you can kind of, not have such a hair trigger reaction to it. But yeah, we do. We are like on high alert. We have hypervigilance. That is normal. But it's really important to figure out, is this hypervigilance or is this person really squirrely, or, what is it?
I've always thought too, I've read in the books that like we're so adverse to overreacting that we in our own minds, we kind of have to think we're doing more than we should, because
Right.
that still won't be
Right.
It's
Right.
like tug of war. You're still just trying to pull it slowly towards yourself.
I'm just going to show them you when you're talking. So yeah, that is true as well. Some of us go hair trigger and we're way over here. It's like squirrely behavior will not be tolerated. Some of us think we're being like really intolerant when in fact we're not. So that was in the CPTSD book, right? So the CPTSD book is a great book. If you have not read it, get it. CPTSD From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. Awesome book. Okay, next question.
Next question is, when we stop overthinking, isn't there a risk of becoming nasty or hurting other people's feelings if we stop caring about what people think of us?
That does not mean not caring.
Kind of the same. Along the same.
It does not mean not caring. So overthinking is ruminating, where you've checked out and you're in the past. Reflecting is where you're like, ooh, that might have been taken a little nastily. Let me check in and see. So like, for example, John and I, whenever we talk, if I feel like I've hurt his feelings, I will say, did I hurt your feelings? Because I kind of feel like that came off a little snarky or a little mean or whatever. And he'll either be like, yeah, or he'll be like, no, or whatever. So reflecting is there and back. Okay. And you don't stop caring. That is the big difference. What you need to understand is abusers don't care at all, period. They do whatever they do, and they could give two flying rats' asses about us, okay? With us, we know when we've hurt somebody's feelings, or we know when we've said something inappropriate, or at least we should know. I'm shooting all over myself. Look at that. So we do know. You know, I know when I've hurt somebody. I know when I suspect I've hurted somebody. Hurted? Good God, I've lost the power of speech. When I've hurt somebody. So you check in with them. You don't guess. You don't make it up in your head. You go check in with the person and say, hey, did I hurt your feelings, or was this okay, or whatever? You still care, okay? But you're not living this whole life that's in the past in your head. You still care, absolutely, but you're not living there. I hope that answers the question. Next question.
When I'm misunderstood, I try to clarify, but often they can't get the initial wrong impression out of their heads. What do you do if you really are misunderstood and can't fix it?
You let it go. Look, people are dedicated to misunderstanding other people. Abusers are dedicated to misunderstanding other people, okay? First impressions, yes, they are very important. We do tend to make snap decisions about people. But, you know, you cannot control another person. If they're going to think of you a certain way, they're going to think of you a certain way. And you just kind of got to go, oh, okay, and move on. And be very diligent in what you say, how you say, and how you present yourself so that you're not misunderstood. So it's, again, a self-esteem thing. So being clearly understood is a self-esteem thing. I know you guys are looking at me going, but everything can't boil down to self-esteem. Everything boils down to self-esteem. Trust me on this one. So when we are certain in who we are very clear in our talking. We are very clear in our communicating. So communication, good communication skills is a part of self-esteem because we recognize that our voice is worthy of being understood. So work on self-esteem, work with a counselor on that. It's like, how are you being misunderstood? How are you not being heard clearly? Let's make sure that those little hiccups are fixed. So it's a self-esteem thing. Get with a good counselor, work on communication skills. Next.
I think too, for me, in that same vein, I used to try to give way too much details, just like oversharing, because you want to explain yourself and defend yourself. So that kind of took away from being clear because you're giving so much superfluous stuff that nobody can understand what you're saying.
Right, and that is a very good point. Is that we overshare, we over-explain, trying to make ourselves clear, when in fact all that does is muddy the waters. It's like, if the question is a yes or no question, you don't need to give them a huge story to go along with it. So, and it's like I was telling my group on the cruise here, no is a complete sentence. You don't need to explain yourself. If you don't want to do something, no. And that is a complete sentence. And you can tell them that. All right, next.
I parted from my narc this past March. I was with him for 2.5 years and I'm healing well.
Good.
How much time should I wait until dating again?
Okay, it's not a matter of time so much. I mean, it is in that we need time to heal ourselves. It is a matter of, where are you with your self-esteem? Where are you with your deal breakers? Where are you with your certainty? Where are you with knowing what you want? What do you want in a relationship? What does a healthy relationship look like? What are your deal breakers? Will you recognize an abuser when they start love bombing? Or are you going to fall for that, because that's what we've been trained to do? Or are you going to fall for the, oh my God, they're just like me, this is perfect, you know? So it's not so much a matter of time, it is, but it isn't. It's more a matter of, where are you with all of those things in place? Do you have your self-esteem in place? Do you have your certainty in place? Do you have your deal breakers in place? And are you willing to cut it off once one of those deal breakers are crossed? So that's really what it is.
Okay.
Next.
How can I be better at making very important decisions on my own when they are accompanied by strong emotions?
Okay, very important decisions. What I love is a pro and a con list. So what you do is you do the pros on one piece of paper on one day, and you set it aside and you don't count them. This is how we skew the results, is that we'll do a pro and a con list on the same piece of paper, and we'll sit there and try to count and make sure that they're all equal, because we already know our answer and we just don't like it. So you do the pros on one piece of paper on one day, set it aside, get a separate piece of a paper, maybe a week later, do the cons, and then pull them both out and look at them. And whichever one is longer is the one you should probably do. So strong emotions tend to skew cue us. And this is another reason why really trusting your gut comes in handy. The head and the heart will lie to us. They will. And they tell stories. They tell stories. Oh, yes, but blah, 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 blah. No, but blah, 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 blah. So what you want to do is a simple yes or no answer to a yes or no question. If there's story involved, it's your head or your heart. Okay. If it's just a yes or a no, it's your gut. So that's how you do it, is you start listening to your gut, not your head, not your heart. Okay. Next.
I find I tend to ruminate and disassociate from just being alone and having an idle mind. I'll do my tasks but mentally check out. Any tips on preventing this?
So it's really important that when you're doing your tasks and you're checking out, to check back in. So when you feel yourself checking out, you just kind of got to go, nope, nope, I don't need to do that. I can enjoy what I'm doing right here, right now, and I can stay present. What does my task feel like? Where do I feel the task in my body? Am I cleaning? How does that glove feel on my hand? How does you stay present sensorily? Good God, I can't even speak.
5 times fast.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. So you stay present by picking out things in the room, okay? So like 5 green things, 5 red things, or what does this task feel like on my hands or on my body? What does this task feel like? How am I sweating? You stay present. So it's a matter of bringing yourself back to the present, and it takes practice, guys. It's not going to happen right off the bat. If you're used to checking out, that's your go-to. So you're going to have to rewire that part of your brain to be like, nope, coming back to the present. So it just takes practice, and you pick things out that will keep you in the present. What does this feel like? How am I feeling? Am I sweating? Am I not sweating? Is it cold in here? Is it hot in here? What am I doing? How does this feel? You just pick things out that will keep you in the present, and you keep bringing yourself back to the present, and it takes practice. So don't beat yourself up. Okay.
When abuse happens in pre-verbal stages of development, is our inner critic also nonverbal? And if so, how do we deal with that when all the abuse
Okay,
and the problem-
so this is why I love the Catherine Taylor book. So she has people do exercises.
Which one is that?
No, Catherine Taylor is the Inner Child Workbook. Catherine Taylor is the Inner Child Workbook. Some of it's a little dated, but it's really good. She has you do exercises like pre-verbally, grab a blanket, grab applesauce, play with the applesauce, put it in your hair, see what happens. Personally, I had a great time doing that. That was a lot of fun. Other people will do that, and they will call me up going, okay, I'm on the floor in the fetal position. What the fuck? Aha. Okay. This is where the abuse occurred. So it's going to be a matter of journaling. It's going to be a matter of feeling. It may be pre-verbal, it may be physical. So where do you feel it in your body when you do things that are reminiscent of the pre-verbal stage, such as grabbing the blanket, getting the applesauce, throwing it around your face, putting it in your hair, doing whatever? How do you feel? And pay attention to that. We may never know exactly what the abuse was. We may not. You may be able to name it, you may not be able to name it. But it's enough to know, aha, this is where it started. And now I can start working with that inner child, that pre-verbal baby, and love that baby, and hold that baby, and hug that baby, and protect that child, because now I am the parent, and nobody gets to harm that child. They have to come through me first, motherfuckers. Do you see where I'm going with that? So it's enough to figure out which age it is. You don't necessarily need to know what the trauma was, but you need to be able to protect that infant stage, that pre-verbal stage, and let them know that you are in charge, and you are the mama, or you are the dada, and you are going to protect them. Does that make sense? Okay. Next.
Is some ambiguity healthy in a conversation, and do abusers hate ambiguity?
Some ambiguity. So not quite sure I understand that question. So normally in communication, in talking to people, it's to communicate and to get things clear. Do abusers hate ambiguity? No, because they're the ones that do word salad. They're the ones that when they start talking, it's like you call them on something and suddenly they're like word salad, not even making sense and twisting it back on you, which is incredibly ambiguous. I can't speak. It's incredibly unclear. So,
Because this question came up when you were talking about not being ambiguous in conversations. So, like, is it a part of a normal conversation? People interact back and forth to clarify.
well, we interact back and forth to clarify things. So, but abusers love ambiguity because they can then twist the situation or twist the conversation to whatever they think they want. So they are always doing word salad. They're always confusing the conversation. They're always flipping it and turning it around on the target. So they love ambiguity. They're not good people. Yeah. Does that answer the question? Okay. Any other questions?
There's one more.
Okay.
This is the last one.
This is the last one. Okay.
Do narcissists overthink, and not in an empathic sort of way, but more in their own evil way?
Dr. Evil. Do they overthink? They are always thinking. They're like sharks. They're always predatory. They are always looking for their next victim. They are always looking for how to harm, how to hurt, how to use, how to manipulate, how to whatever. So yeah, they overthink in that way, but they don't care. That's the thing. They enjoy it, and they're how do I explain this? They are very in their own evil way. They ruminate, but they don't ruminate the way we do. So they don't give a fuck what other people think. They really don't. They don't care if they've hurt somebody. They don't care if they've harmed somebody. What they're interested in is me, I, my genitals more. That's all they care about. And they are just looking to get whatever is going to be their next narcissistic hit. So they overthink in that regards, but it's not like they're concerned how they're hurting somebody. They're not concerned how they're harming somebody. They're not concerned about anybody else except them. So anyway, yeah, got to cut it off. I got to go through the TSA line. Yay. So anyway, thank you guys so much. It was so much fun on the cruise, and I am so looking forward to seeing you guys again on the next cruise, which is May 7th through the 11th. Go to mercury.com/shop, or you can go to cruise@mercury.com if you have questions about it. So Chris has got it all priced out. It's all good. And it's a 5-day cruise. So that means that, Jess will have a chance to talk to you guys. I'll have a chance to talk to you guys. Suzanne will have a chance to talk to you guys. And hopefully I'll be able to get Dwayne to come on this. This would be so cool. All right, guys. I love you. Have a great day. And I will talk to you later. Bye.